Good morning, goblins. Today we've got the wicked Kawasaki ZZR1400 out with us today, and in today's video I'm going to share with you perhaps the most embarrassing story about this motorcycle that I've ever experienced. I tend to get more than my fair share of embarrassing stories on this particular motorcycle. But anyway, so you may have noticed, because this motorcycle was here at the birth of our channel, you may have noticed these panels here. These are not original to this motorcycle. And you may be wondering what the hell happened. Well, okay, the story involves a lock going around the pillion handle and going around the rear wheel. And you may be seeing where this is going. But anyway, let's jump on. And let's go. Let me tell you a little bit more about it, because it's only now that I've actually had the courage to tell you about this story, because honestly, I'd only had the bike a couple of weeks, if that. Anyway, so me and the wifey, we went out on a little road trip. We went to a shopping mall that's about an hour away, so it wasn't too far, but we were in the middle of a town centre, so I thought it would be a good idea to lock up the motorcycle to itself, because there wasn't really anywhere else that I could anchor it to. So yeah, so I decided to wrap around a lock. This thing is one of those complete locks that you buy from, I don't know, Halfords or something like that. I think it was Halfords that I bought it from. Anyway, yeah, it's just like a big rope. It's like a steel rope that you wrap around the tyre, and then at the end there's a lock that you can clip it into. And I'll tell you this right off the bat, that lock does an awful great job. So anyway, so yeah, we went and did our shopping, and we came back, got everything back on us, because we had our jackets and our boots and everything, our helmet. So yeah, put that all back on again, and yeah, both me and the wifey got onto the bike. I started pulling off, and all I heard was crunch, 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 and the motorcycle basically screeching to a halt, or crunching to a halt, should I say. Man, this traffic is brutal. And as soon as that happened, I was like, right, I know what that was. And I was just, my heart just totally sunk. How I forgot that I locked it around the rear wheel and the pillion handle, and basically the whole back fairing was all broken, cracked. It was bad. It was so bad that when we started pulling off, we felt the rear suspension kind of move downwards, you know, like if you're pushing down on the motorcycle from the pillion seat, or if, I don't know, if you're going over some kind of pothole or something like that. But we used that much force, that much torque, that yeah, the rear shock even compressed a little bit, and I felt it compress, because then as soon as I let off the throttle, as soon as I rolled the motorcycle back, which by the way I was able to keep it alive somehow, it hadn't stalled, so I hadn't given it that much throttle, but it felt like a lot, because the jump that it gave us when we came to a dead stop, which, we didn't even move a yard, you know, it was half a yard that we actually moved in the end, before I noticed that, yeah, this had happened. Man, it's so good to be back on this motorcycle though. Yeah, she feels so good, like everything is spot on. Apart from the battery, unfortunately. It's been a little while since I last rode this motorcycle, and the battery was dead when I tried starting her up yesterday, so I had to give the LiPo battery a bit of a charge last night, and yeah, she seems okay now. I'm gonna try and disconnect that alarm at some point in the near future, so we'll see how difficult that will be if I can find where all the gubbins are for that. But yeah, so basically I had to ride this brand new motorcycle, well, brand new to me, brand new motorcycle away from Bristol. Away from Bristol. It was Bristol that we were in, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot for a moment, but yeah, Bristol. Had to ride away, and yeah, we just cracked and broken tail fairings. It looked awful. Even the tail light had suffered a crack and missing pieces of plastic, pretty much. Yeah, so as you can imagine, I was totally disheartened. And so almost immediately when we got back home, I started going on the hunt for ZZR fairings, ZZR tail fairings, and I mean, I found those on eBay. And I mean, I can't remember how much they were. I think it was over 100 quid. But I knew from the get-go that they weren't the same ones that this motorcycle came with. But I quite like them, to be honest with you. I think they came from a first-gen ZZR1400 from memory. Yeah, I think they're first-gen ones. I'm not sure. I might have to double-check that. But I quite like the look of the way how they were designed, because like, even though the colour didn't match 100%, it did match some of the darker plastics going towards the back end of the motorcycle. So I didn't mind that so much. It seemed to work out quite well. And man, there's traffic up there. Oh dear. Yeah, that's the way it was. So anyway, yeah, got these new tail fairings and installed them immediately. And by the way, this is all before I started this channel. So yeah, so I had it like this. Well, yeah, basically over the last 3 years. It's 3 years or 4 years that I've owned this motorcycle. I can't even remember. I was so disheartened. I had this beautiful bike that cost me 10 grand. I broke the rear tail fairings basically within a matter of days. Oh god, it annoyed me so much. But I mean, that just goes to show that be careful with locks that you put on your bike. One, don't be stupid like me and forget that you've done it. And two, don't ever lock it the way how I did. I mean, I don't know if there's a better way that I could have done it or not. The idea was, of course, to stop the rear wheel from moving so no one could even walk the bike away if they wanted to. And I mean, yeah, it worked from that perspective, but it destroyed part of the motorcycle in the process. Oh wait, what is going on here? But yeah, just a tale of caution, this video, guys and girls. It's not fun having to do that. And I mean, as much as I like the tail fairing that I've got on there currently, I've always wanted to go back to the stock ones, because even though it was basically just a black spray painted piece with some stickers on it, it really did suit the aesthetic of this particular model of the ZZR1400. So I don't know, man. I would love to go back to it at some point if I get the opportunity to, and I know I probably could, but again, it's another 100 quid that I've got to invest. And I mean, the tail fairing, they fit absolutely fine. There's no problem with the fitment whatsoever. I didn't have to make any adjustments or anything like that. It all fit exactly the same as the old one, well, the newer one did that I broke. Woo! So I might keep that fairing on there for now, at least for the foreseeable future. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see kind of what we decide to do with it going forward. Yeah, I don't know. Just I like my motorcycles being original, at least in the way they look. Performance mods and things like that, well, you don't really see those that much, apart from maybe an exhaust. So I just like to keep my bikes looking as original as possible. It's just a personal thing, despite the fact that the fairings look good. I struggle sleeping at night with with those on, I have to admit. Yeah. One of the saddest things that ever happened to this motorcycle, and this bike has gone through the wars, man. Yeah, I mean, I told you about that other one. It's probably a year ago now. I told you guys about the time when I dropped this motorcycle for the first time, and oh no, it's probably over a year ago. I think it was a year ago that I told you about it, and then I think it was the year before that it actually happened. I mean, she's fine though. Any damage that she sustained has been purely cosmetic. She still rides perfectly. She still is the beast that I always knew. Yeah, she's got a lot of heart, this motorcycle. But it is sad when these things happen. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of salt in the wound when they are quite that new to you. And a couple of weeks into owning a motorcycle, you're still going through that honeymoon phase, you know? So yeah, it's certainly not a nice feeling when it happens at the best of times, but when it happens, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen within the first few weeks of you owning the motorcycle. It just always is. That's kind of just how it goes. But yeah, man, I absolutely love this motorcycle. Yeah, every time I step away from it, because of course I've been riding the ZX-9R quite a lot in recent weeks. You know, getting to know that motorcycle, going through that same honeymoon phase with that one. And it's always a breath of fresh air going back to a motorcycle like this. A bit like the ZX2, the throttle feel is so smooth and its power delivery is so linear, and she feels so nice to ride despite her weight. Yeah, she's a fat girl, alright, but she moves that weight around like it was nothing. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But anyway, there you go, guys and gals. I mean, I don't think there's anything more to add to this story, but I really wanted to share it with you because I am human like all of you, when in fact I'm a goblin like all of you. So, you know, when these things happen, it sucks, but it happens to everybody. You will make stupid mistakes, you'll forget things. And I don't know, it always happens when you're just excited to get on the motorcycle, when you're excited to get out and ride it. That's when these things always seem to happen. You just forget things. It's like the day I brought home the ZX-9R, I shot my kind of reaction, my first impressions of that motorcycle on the way back from picking it up. But because I forgot to press or slide up the hold button on my audio recorder, it never recorded the audio. So it was just a complete waste of time, and it was really annoying because I really captured how I was feeling about that motorcycle when I was bringing it home, and I was really ecstatic and I was really enthusiastic about it. I thought, wow, this is a fantastic motorcycle, I've done really well. But yeah, these things happen, and they have a habit of happening to a lot of people, so don't worry yourself so much about it if it does happen. It was quite an easy fix at the end of the day. So, and she looks good, no one has mentioned, I think in the comments as far as I've seen, no one has mentioned to me that it's different fairings to the stock ones for this model year. So clearly the fairings work. I did a good job on those. But yeah, it still irks me, guys and gals, still irks me. But anyway, as always, leave a like, hit subscribe. Thank you ever so much for joining me all the way to the end of today's video. Right safe, and we will catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.